Hello, welcome back to the Face It Global Summit. I am with one of the veterans of the pro PUBG scene. Maluk, I remember watching you at OEM Oakland 2017. I was there in the audience. And now we're here together. So you're kind of showing me the ropes here, to be honest. You're way more experienced than I am. And you were the #1 team coming out of MPL. So talk to me about your quiet start at the tournament so far.
Yeah, we're a team, we're really used to winning. And this is, different for us. We're not too used to losing, but I feel like if we're able to, overcome our slow start, we're definitely going to be able to perform in the weekend. And I mean, I'm not too worried about it. The guys aren't too worried about it. We're just trying to come into these Wrangle games and post up at least 2 wins, and then we'll be good.
You did have a quiet start to the MPL preseason, but then of course you emerged victorious in Season 1 itself. So talk to me about how you brought things back there, because I'm guessing it's going to apply to today as well.
Yeah, so in the NPL preseason, a lot of what we were performing wrong in the first few days, we were able to work on, and we really did well in the final day. So I think that might end up coming to fruition again. We're just going to have to, look back on today, learn from our mistakes, and then correct them and, do very well in the final. And I think we're a team that's capable of doing that.
And round 3 on Miramar, Impala Circle. Impala, that's your digs. That's your ends. What happened? Why was it not successful for you?
Yeah, we should have just stayed there. I didn't realize it was gonna. Nobody told me it was gonna end there. I forgot.
So communication issues, Maluk.
Oh no, I mean, we didn't know. If I had known it was gonna end in Impala, yeah, we would have just stayed there. But we thought it might end, further west. So
we're heading on to Erangel next. Do you feel more confident about that map?
I think in general we're more used to Erangel. I think a lot of the teams probably prefer it more. But yeah, I think we're gonna do well on Erangel.
Are you going to have to play on Friday, or do you think you're going to sail straight into the weekend's finals?
I think we still have a very good chance of coming through the top 8 in this weekend. We might have given up our chance at, 1, 2, 3, or 4, but 5, 6, 7, and 8 all still go through. So we're definitely shooting for one of those spots. We don't want to be playing on Friday.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Maluk. I'll let you get into your warm-up. And I just have to say to you guys at home, you can let us know what you think of Tempo Storm and the other teams using the hashtag FaceItGlobalSummit. And FaceItGlobalSummit.com is where you can buy your tickets for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Maybe you want to meet our amazing teams, our talent teams, or maybe you want to meet me? No, probably not. Just buy your tickets anyway. Ignore me. Ignore me. I'm very friendly, I promise. Let's head up to the desk to get into round number 4 of the day.
I'm not friendly. Let's get into it. It's going to be the second half of the day here as we are moving on to Erangel. Welcome back to the Kyalaris Battle Center as we have, to my right-hand side, the extra commanders of the Battle Center. It's Toffees, and it is Avenger, looking studious as always, musing about what may come here on Erangel. Toffees, philosopher and scholar,
yes.
Tell me what you think coming into Erangel.
According to the Book of Toffees, it is important to understand that Wrangle is played very differently than Miramar.
Yes.
Teams like Tempo Storm have a chance to come back, and teams that thrived on Miramar often don't do well here.
No, what I want to take away from this fantastic interview with Maluk was, yesterday, I was sitting in the hotel lounge, and I was looking at Sandpa, and Tixi was there as well from Windstrike. This is a true story. And they were sitting next to each other, and Sandpa turned like this.
In Zampa classic fashion.
Do you remember last time you were driving West Coast, referring to?
When they were Habbo Gaming,
When they were Habbo Gaming, and they made sure they didn't come back, and they didn't like that.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching that maybe don't remember, Tempo Storm has a unique defensive system of their drop, right?
They do.
They do a spread on the Gatka coast, and you think, well, it's hard because there's so many things there, they can't fight, you drop wherever you want. So their system is they get cars first, then they shoot out every tire in the entire region and rotate away. And so if you end up, I think at that time there was a Milta power circle that came off of it, and Habu had to jog their way all the way into the circle.
Let's describe it as it is. It's obnoxious.
It's super obnoxious. I mean, all of us have been there, right? Like, I love this game, but when I'm playing the Forrest Gump simulator, it's a little much for me because it's just, it gets into your head, you're running forever, and then there's that sort of boredom that sets in.
When you're west and the circle is east, I'm not that life. Absolutely not. Let's check in with the standings as well here, ladies and gentlemen, around the world, as of course we do have Groups B and C playing currently. Now do bear in mind, teams from Group B have already had themselves 6 games yesterday as well. So very likely that we're going to see a lot of leading from those 8 teams specifically. In fact, when I'm looking at this, I think that every single one of the teams on the left-hand side is those teams teams, or are those teams even, I should say, from Group B. Group C playing catch-up on the right-hand side. They have 6 games tomorrow as well. And currently, NIP and Winstrike and VSG not doing too bad in terms of catching up with the bottom half of Group B right now.
We're 2 points away from for NIP taking over Brazilian Crusaders, even though that the Crusaders, they actually had a win today. So it's looking pretty good for NIP. And also NIP have a pretty decent drop and pretty flexible drop on Erangel. So I'm curious to see how they're going to kind of utilize that, and especially them being able to kind of both, now that they did the training in PL, dropping on the East Coast if they had a rough plane, and also being able to go to South George when it's a Western plane or kind of a West Coast drop, then it's going to be a lot better for them. And I think especially here on Erangel, I think they're going to get more points than they did on Miramar.
And for those of you at home who struggle with math like myself, keep in mind, we're probably not going to see tons of the right column past the left column today. And that's simply because, like you said, they're back 6 games. So making up that many points is absolutely crazy. Now, if you are on the left side of the column, Brazilian Crusaders, for instance, in this situation, and a team like Winstrike or Ninjas of Pajamas starts to pass you with a 6-game deficit, there's 2 things that does. That triggers you to play harder because you go, ruh-roh, I'm going to the elimination day. But that's even worse, because if you're this far down at that point, then how do you even get out of the elimination round?
Final thoughts before we get into Erangel. Avenger, starting with you.
I'm very curious to see if the guys that's been kind of struggling today, if they're able to catch up and we have a good game coming into Erangel, because it's definitely the kind of the home turf for a lot of these teams.
I mean, I think that's what it comes down to, is will we see teams like Tempo Storm and Four Angry Men, who have had a bad day today, rise up and thrive here on Erangel, or does it all fall apart and do they stay there on the bottom?
It's very exciting to see at the moment, especially a team like ENCE has found themselves a win off the back of the Miramar games. Can they step it up to avoid going into the sudden death elimination round? That is all important. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, as we are 20 seconds out of game number 1 of Erangel for day number 2 here for the Face It Global Summit. And we are going over to our commentator team as we have Matrim and one of my Korea boys himself. He likes VSG too. Let's go. Take it away, guys.
Thank you so much, everybody on the analyst desk. My name is Matrim, and I am joined by Paperthin over here. And yeah, pretty good day for Korea. You got a smile on your face.
Yeah, it's been really good for Korea so far today. A Freak of Freaks Fatal looks incredible. They are absolutely going insane. 2 second places so far today, tons of kills. VSG having a good day as well, getting a 2nd place for themselves, and finding a way to get 3rd after losing 2 members very early on in game number 3.
VSG has had some real shining moments. Those Star-Lord shots have been absolutely nutty to watch, but here we go. We're over here on Erangel to get everything started for our first round on Erangel for the day. Planes up in the air, and I've heard that this round could be a little spicy as far as drops go.
Yeah, we've gotten some hints that maybe there's going to be a few contested locations here, so I'm pretty curious to see what we're going to find in that situation. Will VSG be contested in North George or maybe South George? It looks like they might be going. Okay, they are going into South George here with NIP, so we're going to start things off spicy.
All right, here we go. VSG does the land. Everybody's just going all around these. A lot of people call them different things. You can see the double stack or whatever you want to say. VSG gets the ones down towards the south, and we got NIP just up to the north of it. Miraku Vart on the outside of it. Star-Lord smack dab in the middle, completely surrounded by NIP players.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit difficult here for Star-Lord. These buildings, like you said, he's completely surrounded. Now, Hulk and Juanita do have his flank there. Dang Che on the outside. Whoa, okay. We got OMG here.
Run! Get away from the car. Okay, he's going to make it over there. There you go. It's fine.
Leo didn't want any of that. He just wanted to get out of there. No big losses there so far.
Oh, my God.
And the circle.
Oh, my God, the circle.
We're going way north, Matrim.
This is cruel. Plane path into this circle is like, ha ha. Now everybody has to make their way up towards that Stolber area. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Yaznaya come into play, but here you go. A lot of shotguns, pistols in play at the time. You can even see Juanita running around with the Tommy gun, but we got NIP with a ton of ARs. So Vard looks like he could be one of the flank positions. A lot of people stacking up. Miraku got himself the pump action. Yeah, we see a lot of pump action use in competitive PUBG on a regular basis, right?
All the time,
Yeah,
all the time.
every game. Every game.
You know what's interesting? It used to be way back in the day, the Koreans really liked the S12K. You would see that all the time, especially in third person because of the ability to peek around the corners and that. But no shots landing there really for NIP. Just a few poking shots there. NBS here looking over towards Dang Che. He's got Gaxi on his left. They can't seem to find him. Those windows are pretty thin there on the third street. Okay, Dang Che, you can't get. Ooh, okay.
What do
Never
we
mind.
got going over here? Pat Caps is just chasing down Triffley and gonna to go ahead and spray him down. So that's going to be Ince losing one off the start. Now, one thing to keep in mind with what we've got going on between this VSG and what's happening with NIP, notice these guys really can't move out of their buildings. Everybody's watching different angles, so loot is not happening right now. Everybody's just got what they originally had to pick up and are still kind of on the hunt for it. But here you go, NIP making the push right up over towards Star-Lord, and he wants nothing to do with it. Jumps out the other window, getting into a nice position, taking a couple of shots on the other side of it. This is a lot of mind games back and forth. Miraku right on the other side of the door. Is he aware of this? Does Star-Lord go for the play? How's this? Look, he's just barely inching forward onto it. He knows that there's somebody right on the other side of the door, but if he opens it, it's actually going to come in on him, so it's going to give him a little bit more protection. Hulk on another side for this, but again, this is taking so long. This is going to kind of be a detriment for both teams if they have to separate out of this, neither one really winning the fight. None of them are going to get a chance to loot, really.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised by VSG's decision to do this here. They're a team that has gone either North George or Primorsk most of the time. So taking this, and Miraku does get the headshot into Star-Lord and will surely finish the kill. No, he's closing the door.
No, it's violent outside. Let's just close that door and wait a second. You maybe use him as bait there for kind of look around. Miraku's still just trying to figure out what's going on. Star-Lord going down this early is actually really bad for VSG, though.
This is disaster for VSG. I'm quite frankly shocked by this decision. I really thought they would either go Primorsk, which is completely uncontested, or at least North George, because that plane path was pretty far north to start out with. Primorsk is a pretty long go from there. All right, Star-Lord does get finished by Miraku. Hulk looking around, trying to see if he can see any members of NIP here. Dangche in a bit of a fight with Gaxi, trying to get some quick shots there. Nothing really landing with that SKS, and Gaxi, he landed a couple shots early on Dangche. I saw a little bit of damage come in, but nothing substantial.
Well, Dangche is kind of off on the side flank, all by himself. And Hanboya, I'm taking a wild guess on what happened here because we can see a motorcycle culprit just sitting right in front of a rock. No, don't worry, Hanboya. Nobody in the world sees this right now. It's not going to be an issue at all.
Yeah, it tends to be in competitive PUBG. If you see a random player down on the ground and there's a motorcycle next to him, it's the forensics aren't too difficult to do there.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. We've got Brazilian Crusaders over here in Rajak. This has kind of become their home. You can see a lot of the teams already started their rotation way back over towards that northeastern part of the map. But naturally, over at Welcome to South George, we got this little bit of a stall that's happening because, again, the longer this goes on, nobody's really getting a chance to get a lot of loot. Look at the meds that a lot of these guys are sitting on. Just a couple of smokes, not a lot of frag grenades to really work with. Juanita's got a nice little flank. Is he going to spout out Bard? Yes, Bard's going to take a little bit of damage, but that's going to reveal him. Does Bard go around the entirety of this wall, get the lineup onto it, goes for a little bit of a peek battle back and forth onto this. Juanita takes a lot of, actually takes no damage on this. This is actually turning out for Bard. Finally, Juanita goes down the exchange, and I got to say, NIP is getting control over South George.
Yeah, NIP absolutely manhandling VSG right now. That's a difficult position for Juanita to be in. There's really only one angle that the member of NIP needs to shoot from. That he can just quick scope really fast. It's not going to be hard to land those shots. I mean, he missed a few, but eventually he does end up getting the kill on Juanita.
We've got a strong favor for NIP in South George right now and just on the hunt. Look at about how much more free they are. They're just looking around, thinking if anybody's going to take the shots. And here we go. We got a couple of shots going back and forth as I believe Hulk has been spotted out. He's got himself a nice defensive position, but a nice flashbang over the wall. Should pop right up on top of him. And actually kind of catches Bard a little bit, but does not matter. He's just going to go ahead and spray him down. Now it is all onto Dangche, last person standing.
Fantastic stun grenade there from NIP to get Hulk. Easy pickings here for NIP. VSG really going to have to question what they're going to do next game. I don't think they could compete again, but okay, Envy moving in here onto Ensign. You do get the knock onto Rustenmar. Oh my goodness, Envy absolutely rocking Ents right now.
Envy feeling in control over this. As you can see, Squeaky did go down as well. Rustenmar is out. That's going to be forcing them out and away from this position. But again, we do have the blue that's coming in right now. And look at the wall of NIP players just slowly moving in over towards Dangche.
Yeah, Dangche very much in trouble here. Can he pull off a miracle one before? It'd be quite the moment for him. I know he's just trying to find a way. He's got that M16, and that's not the ideal gun you want in that situation.
Give me a something full auto at least. I believe his other gun was the SKS that we saw just a second ago. Not necessarily a good close range fight that he can go with. Okay, takes a couple of shots, now reveals him, gets it down onto one of them, just trying to go for the flush, going for the spray on the other side of it, and actually manages to pick up 2 right now. Now playing off in defensive position, trying to get a spray back and forth. Takes a lot of damage, but that's going to be NIP taking down VSG at the start.
Yeah, a valiant effort there by Dang Che, but too little too late for VSG, and they go down in 16th again. They went out in 16th in the very first game on Miramar. History has repeated itself here on Erangel.
So with this, almost everybody has now made their way over towards the safe zone. You can see it's going to be 4 a.m. out off on the side of this, just kind of holding back in MP5, taking a couple of shots over towards him. OMG, Windstrike, and NIP are the only teams that really still need to make it inside the safe zone. And nice shots coming out from Godvi.
Yeah, Godvi doing what he does best. He is such a strong player for 4 a.m. Little bit of a struggle for them on Miramar so far today, but we'll see if they can pick it up here on Erangel. Windstrike, in the meantime, making their way up across the bridge. That's to the east of Georgia Pole, and they are coming up on the western side of the circle, which is very, very open right now. Okay, we got ZG trying to land some shots. On to Miss You, a little bit of damage, but doesn't manage to knock him out.
It just forces him out of this position. That's just, actually, it's going to be Godvi that's going to catch a little bit of damage on that side of that. A vehicle explosion takes down Miss You. Looks like nobody missed him inside of that, but also Venerated getting spotted out in the rotation over there. Moody taking a little bit of damage, as well as Hanboya still running around just trying to find what he can.
Yeah, he's got that Bison. He did manage to get 1 kill there. Envy's Moody. He's getting out of dodge. He doesn't want any part of this. And AG setting up on these hills here north of Yasnaya, I believe.
Envy was running a 2-2 split at that position, which after like kind of forcing Ints out is not going to pay off too big for him, because we also have Tempo Storm that's pushing back over onto Envy. A little bit of North America on North America action here. This has kind of been a running theme. North American teams like to kill each other in this event.
Yeah, it seems like they've been fighting each other a lot. And, you know, it's interesting when that happens, because you almost feel like they fight each other, and you wonder, is there any real love lost there? Oh, what a grenade from Sharky.
Good shot from Sharky coming out. Nice nade coming through there. Moody's still around the outside, but you can see Zampa's on the backside of this, hiding out over there next to Adachi, taking a couple of shots here. So Taro's down on one side of it. Pat Caps is slowly getting ticked down. You can see now it is all just Moody, as Tempo Storm is just storming this complex, and that's going to be Envy getting eliminated in 15th place.
Yeah, we heard the members of Tempo Storm talking about how they wanted to get 2 chicken dinners here on Miramar to kind of turn their day around. That's 4 kills for them, I believe, or 3, and a good way to start things out for Tempo Storm, who struggled on Miramar.
New circle has popped, and it's a very strong position for Tempo Storm, but they're already on the hunt for a new location, as Zampa is now just kind of roaming around. OMG still on the outside of this. We did talk about Windstrike. They had to make their way inside the circle. Looks like they have bumped into 4 a.m. and naturally 4 a.m. never afraid to take a fight. So one member down on Windstrike right now, and you can see Windstrike trying to get a little bit of damage back on the other side of his. Forever is down for 4 a.m. Long range nade's going to come down. Probably going to bounce just over on the other side of the tree. Is it going to bounce based off of it? And might roll down right next to Captain, but it's going to have to be a little short. Godvi manages to run back over and get Forever up. It's all going to be about different angles, but ZG is also down up towards the top of the hill.
Yeah, Windstrike a little afraid to take this fight right now. They do get the revive onto Forever. Here comes another grenade, making its way towards Captain. That one looks pretty good.
That was absolutely phenomenal throw. Trying to play around the trees there, and look at this. Tiksu on the other side of this gets a line of sight over towards Godvi. 4 a.m. had a great day yesterday, but they just keep getting third-partied from everywhere, and this isn't even a third-party attempt this time. Finally coming a little bit more alive. Tiksu's got the angle on the other side of it, but Nookie did go down in the exchange. Forever is kind of the front man and only man for 4 a.m. up at the time.
Yeah, he's the last hope here for 4 a.m., but Tiksu does have the angle, landing quite a few shots. Forever very weak right now. Looks like the other members of Windstrike are trying to push in to finish off 4 a.m. here. 4 a.m. very much on the back foot.
Forever's just playing down in that little dip right over here next to shooting range. We see it get a lot of action. Smokes are now down. It's everybody from Windstrike just trying to hunt him down, and nice shots coming out for Forever, giving him a little bit more of a respite. Still just trying to find some way to survive through this, but he just doesn't have the numbers that are coming out for him. Actually, Godvi does go, finally does bleed out there, so no surprise there. It's just going to be Forever all by his lonesome at this point. Still shots coming out from Windstrike. Jorski's right on the front of it. Got Nuki on the other side. Really, it looks like they're just trying to unite, and they're just going to maybe go for the push after this, but that's going to be actually a full flush coming out from Forever, and that's going to be one of the members of Winstrike going down. It almost feels like they realize this might be a little bit too dangerous for us to push into, and are trying to figure out, is the measured worth here for it? They've done the damage to 4 AM. Do they want to close it out, or do they just want to reposition?
Yeah, and I think part of it is that the fight has been going on for so long between the two of them that they're really worried about getting third party from behind. I mean, you know, fortunately for them, nobody's actually really close enough to do it, but you have to have that alarm in the back of your mind that's going off. It's like, okay, this fight's been going on for about a minute. That's way too long. That's giving too many teams an opportunity to come and take advantage of this situation.
I mean, especially after playing Miramar, where it's just third-party Fiesta all over the place. You're like, okay, this fight's been a bit. Oh, that's OMG loading up a lot of people into one UAZ. That could get very dangerous depending on how they choose to cross into this. This new circle has popped up, and looks like we are making our way over towards shooting range, which is a great thing for Forever as long as he can survive Winstrike just hanging out right above him.
Yeah. He's got to find a way to get in there and hide, as that's his best option at this point. I mean, we've seen some players do it. We saw SR from AHQ yesterday. Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't want to make that point anyway.
Yeah, well, I saw where you were going with it. He had the opportunity, but you can see it's going to be Armory Gaming taking a couple of shots back over up towards Tempo Storm. A couple of shots coming back the other side of it. And look at this. Force just reverse driving down the hillside, trying to make it into safety, but I don't think you're going to make it over there, Yak. You get taken down by Brazilian Crusaders.
Yeah, some nice shooting there from the Crusaders. Yak did his best to go, but it didn't quite work. He wasn't able to quite get behind the car to use it as cover. It blew up, and he wasn't able to really control it too much. So Yak, first member down for Force. You can see BB, our Japanese team. This is Brazilian SM making his way along the northern coast into Severny. They're taking some shots here as they traverse the terrain, but no serious damage coming in so far. AFF making their way into the circle from the southeastern corner here, and it looks like they have a pretty clear opening so far. We'll see where they want to go. Oh, careful there, Lambo. Style, okay.
Yeah, we give him a couple of style points, all things considered. So we've got Clouds taking a couple of shots over at NIP. This is going to be very common if you have not seen the circle on a regular basis. These hills around shooting range are just going to be plentiful with teams hanging out and just taking pot shots at each other. There's a lot of little dips that you can play around. So we're probably going to have a couple of teams post up towards the top and slowly be forced to fight more and more. And maybe one or two teams, we might see somebody make their way down towards shooting range, or maybe that bunker that's right next to shooting range. But really, shooting range is the deciding factor. It's the center of everything, and nobody wants to make that push quite yet with 13 teams still alive.
Yeah, it's difficult to go into shooting range just because there's a lot of high ground around it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough to get in there. Once you're in there, it's not so bad because there's quite a bit of cover, but getting there is the difficult part. Now, we didn't get to talk a lot about some of the rotations that some of these teams made because we basically had nonstop action here so far. NIP spent forever in Southern George after wiping out VSG and then made a late rotation into the circle. Now they're posted up around the crashed plane. OMG to their right, also a late entry into the circle, and I'm kind of surprised. OMG's been kind of doing this all day where they've been making late entries.
You can see that's going to be a couple of shots coming out onto Airwolves 7 from two different angles. They're right now running a little bit of a split, but looks like one of their members got taken out by NIP, and the other side of it was taken out by Tempo Storm. So they have two members up and around, but just kind of driving around at the time. They're already having to use a lot of smokes and running into a shack. If you're hiding in a shack at this stage of the game's not going too well for you.
Nope, that's not where you want to be. And, you know, the Airwolves, their T7 team, they've spread out a lot. Their 4 members are very spread out. And you can see Shura gets taken out by NBS there. He was way over on the west coast and of this circle, and he's gone. So down to 3 members. They were able to get the res onto Godly there.
Interesting new circle has popped. So we've got Force that's kind of hanging out in those quad buildings right along the crossroads, known for a lot of strength and catching people in rotation, and that's pretty much right in the middle of this new circle. So a lot of rotations coming through at the time. Tempo Storm right on the edge. Looks like they're going to go ahead and try to gun for it first. We got Airwolves taking a couple of shots back over towards the Blue Bees, and that's going to be a down and an easy flush onto that. Here comes the other members of Blue Bees running right along next to Tempo Storm. So Airwolves still has to move forward just a little bit, but it is just going to be a shooting gallery as teams are already posting up. You can see Tempo Storm taking a couple of shots on the other side of it. I actually think that Mikas is down below them inside the bunker right now. Yeah, I think that's where he's positioned at, but Airwolves Datmosh taking a couple of shots on the other side.
Yeah, Datmosh posted up here by that bunker entrance. Did get that nice rip onto a member of the Blue Bees. The Blue Bees able to successfully get 3 members, I believe, into the edge of shooting range there. I can't tell for sure. They're all kind of bunched up there. It might just be 2. They might have lost one to Tempo Storm in transition there. Dangerous rotation for them, but they're trying to make something happen. AFF getting some kills in the meantime, and here we see Mikas from ENCE, the last surviving member, hiding out in that bunker.
Hey, well, he's letting Tempo Storm do all the work for him. I know words are hard today. So right now, they're just all posted up above him, taking all the shots, taking all the aggression. He just gets to hang out down here. Sure, he's not going to get a lot of kills, but hey, just keep letting them do all the work and buy him more placement points.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not a bad position to be in if that's what you're going for. There's only one way in, right? So it's pretty easy to defend it as far as, you know, that kind of thing goes.
The downside is if the circle shifts away, there's only one way out as well.
Yes, yes. But it's probably about the best proposition you can have right now. Shu gets a knock and a kill onto Sharky here with the SKS team. You know, Tempo Storm, they started out kind of hot there, but now they've lost a member. They still got 3 alive.
Well, Sharky was kind of playing around the Severny area. He was kind of their outside cover point. Sometimes you see that running an Overwatch position, just trying to provide some kind of sight lines for the rest of his team. Last guy to leave, and 17 just was like, huh, okay, yeah, you can just hang out by yourself. And look, some nice shots coming out from the Blue Bees, actually taking down Zampa as well.
Yeah, the Blue Bees, they've been picking up kills here and there so far. They haven't been able to get too deep into the standings as far as, you know, placement goes. But that grenade, in fact, Zampa had left the smoke wisely. It was not taken down by that grenade from the Blue Bees. But that grenade does connect from Maluk onto KR10.
Nice reverse throw coming back over there. So a little bit of a nade battle back and forth along that hillside. So now we've got NIP that's kind of taking the low ground right over here next to shooting range. You can see Windstrike still hanging out where they were beforehand, but NIP not too comfortable in their position. Looks like they're trying to make their way up the hillside, so have a literal uphill battle ahead of them. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, Cloud's getting a knock there. It looks like OMG and AFF are in a fight. Gaxi, though, in a fight here with Windstrike. Landed a little bit of damage onto Nookie, trying to get around that corner, but getting hit from another angle, so he's got to back off. Some grenades come in. Miraku does get the knock onto Nookie, but it looks like it's AW7 coming in from behind here on NIP.
Datmosh has just been hanging out in the back of this and annoying so many teams, but here we go. We've got a Freak of Freaks Fatal slowly making their way up right next to OMG. A little bit of a defensive fight coming out from OMG at the time. NIP still trying to make their push up this hillside. So here we go. We got Lambu that's kind of looking back over towards OMG. His backside kind of revealed, but really not a lot of teams pushing back on this angle, but he has to keep that eye for it. Make sure that nobody's coming up on their flanks. You can see Silence down back behind that rock right now. And here we go. The shift has gone back down towards the south where we're looking at this fight right now. A lot of teams now going to have to leave. Remember, we talked about Mikas. He was down inside that bunker. Now has to leave out through that one-way entrance.
Right, and there's Tempo Storm just waiting right outside of it. So he's going to probably have a really difficult time getting out of there. Now, he might be able to wait and get lucky if Tempo Storm doesn't know he's there and they decide to go. But yeah, Shadow here. Oh, yes, Shadow, you've got the angle into Zhao Hai. That will be OMG going out into 11th place.
8 kills for a Freak of Freaks right now. They have just been fighting their way up this hill. Taking down OMG gives them so much control over the circle at the time. We still have Windstrike that's up towards the top of this. Tempo Storm looked like they were trying to run up this direction and decided, no, I don't want to do that anymore as 2 members go down. It's going to be Windstrike still just holding this high ground, doing their best, Obi-Wan.
If you're an ENCE fan, you got to be really happy about what's happening outside of that bunker right now, because Mikas might be getting a big break here, and he might be able to get out of there safely if that last member, which is Maluk of Tempo Storm, decides to leave or does end up getting killed now. Gaxi taking some shots, and oh my goodness, Gaxi, those were some very nice mini 14 shots onto Datmosh there, getting the knock onto him. He can kind of see the head here of another player, but not quite able to land those shots.
So here we go. You can see up towards the top of the hill, we've got Windstrike. NIP still trying to make their way up to one side of it. Brazilian Crusaders have kind of just snuck inside the center of the circle. So last member of 17 just runs in right on the edge of the circle with it. NIP still wanting to make their way up towards this hillside. And look at this. No fear from 17 Gaming as they're just running right along the blue all by himself, going, hey, maybe I can at least get one more kill point out of this, but it just drew too much attention. That vehicle is about to explode. He just has to abandon it. As about 100 meters he has to go forward, and here we go. NIP pushing back up, and they're going to get the down and the flush on a Tiksu.
And look at this. NIP 8 kills already, getting those 4 onto VSG. 4 more since with that extremely late rotation. They're making it work here on the western edge, cleaning up when they need to, getting kills here and there, doing a very good job of just kind of slowly advancing. They're taking their time. They're not making super aggressive rotations. They're making sure their flanks are clear. They're doing a very nice job here.
And here's Mikas trying to sneak his way out of the bunker like, okay, Tempo Storm, are you still here? Where did you go? I didn't see you guys getting eliminated, so I'm just going to kind of creep over this direction. Oh, no! Somebody's got attention. Going to go hide over here, and it's going to be actually NIP that's looking back over towards him. Poor Mikos, man. He just wants to be left alone.
He really tried, and you know, this was really smart play by him. He was able to wait out Tempo Storm, but now he's taking a lot of damage. The blue is closing in on him here. He's going to lay down behind the tree. He should be able to get a heal off.
He's actually right in between two other teams at the time. He's got Airwolf on one side and Force on the other, and it's actually NIP that's taking the shots. That's going to be Gaxi hitting a nice headshot from over here to take him down. That's going to be Ince getting eliminated.
Yeah, he wasn't quite able to get into the points there, but Mikos, I like what he was doing. It was, you know, it was the best he could have done there. AG's still up here, but they're taking a few shots from the last two members of AFF. AG are tie team, so a nice round for them so far here. They've still got all four members. Duckman's leading the way.
Literally leading the way. He is about 200 meters away from the rest of his team. Look at him off to the left over there. He has been fragging out in these games, but the rest of the team's kind of hanging out back in the back, just kind of playing for safety. They're kind of I've heard of a one-man anchor trying to get like some type of control. They're a three-man anchor and just cutting him loose to do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, why not? He absolutely fragged out of his mind yesterday. 9 kills for him in day one. So Duckman's definitely the MVP for Armory. Some grenades coming out here from Entis Force as they try to push this compound that the Crusaders have been sitting on for quite some time now. This is kind of what we saw in game number 1 when Crusaders got the chicken dinner. They were able to just play defensively, wait things out, and come through with the victory. We'll see if it works for them here in this game.
They've got a very strong position right now. That little dip right next to these buildings provides a lot of cover. Now it's really just Force. They got grenade range, so they're kind of playing around with it. But again, this is going to be a lot of utility having to be used very early in the game. So they have to make sure that they get like a couple of kills, a couple of flushes to try to replenish this. Rogi making a nice little sneaky flank off to the side of this. Kind of say, okay, maybe this might be a touch too risky. Retreats back into the new safe zone, so that way we do have the circle coming in. He just doesn't want to overextend at this point. Maybe try to force everybody to make their way up to them. But good Lord, Ninjas in Pajamas at 10 kills, and it doesn't look like it's gonna stop anytime soon.
I mean, it seems like they gained some confidence and momentum after defeating VSG in South George, and they take out one of the last remaining members of AFF. Rogi trying to protect the flank here for the Crusaders. They're kind of in a bit of a pinch. It depends on what AG wants to do here. They're a little further out, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to land those shots. And, you know, Entis Force, they've smoked up here, and they're trying to make their way in as best they can, landing a little bit of damage. But Indigo gets a knock onto Rusty Zera there.
Nice shots through the smoke, and you can see Rogi's just trying to spot him out. Does get the down onto one of them, but goes down inside of the exchange. Indigo taking a couple of shots, and also going to get a couple of sideline shots. Third party from AG way off in the distance. So with this, you can see now it's going to be Force getting eliminated. We have Crusaders still holding down their complex, but look, Ninjas in Pajamas spotted out. Armory Gaming way across the field away from him. I think the last other 4-man squad up and alive at the time.
Yep, Hanboya trying to get some of those shots to land onto Maluk, the last member standing here for Tempo Storm. He was able to land one, but not too many. Maluk's able to find some cover for now, a little respite here. The circle does shift up to the north, a pretty decently hard shift here, so that's a nice little circle there for the Crusaders. And AG, I kind of like their position too. They're on the edge there. NIP, I think it's NIP's or AG's game at this point. They're both looking quite strong.
It's all going to be about how control comes into play. Ninjas in Pajamas have a lot of solos that are kind of hanging out in the approach vector that they're choosing to go with. They've got Windstrike just kind of hanging out over there. Last couple of members of Aerowolves. Meanwhile, Armory Gaming, they have a lot more control that they can move forward into, but they don't have the same amount of cover. Yeah. So it's going to cause a little bit of trouble for him. And Maluk has been spotted out, just hiding back behind his tree right now. Just again, Tempo Storm somehow managing to sneak inside the spot. Haven't had the best day, so really just trying to get what position they can.
Ooh, but Teme playing spoiler here for NIP, being the sneaky snake, gets the knock and the kill on the NBS, looking for some more damage onto Miraku, gets a little bit, but the grenades coming in, doing some damage to Teme. He's going to have to back off a little bit. Vard pushing up onto him here while he's trying to heal. He's trying to spray him around the corner. He does get it. That will be Windstrike going out in 6th place.
But look, Armory Gaming hears this, comes right up back behind Ninjas in Pajamas. Gaxi goes down inside of the exchange. You can see Vard now looking over, trying to figure out exactly where the shots are coming from, but it's going to be Duckman that gets it down on Miraku. This is paying up big for them as Duckman is just walking forward and takes down NIP.
Duckmans is absolutely insane with that AK. Some really nice rips there. AG feeling confident, pushing in here. Hanboya gets the finish onto Godly. So that is another member here down for the Aerowolves. They still have one more standing, but AG looking extremely strong right now with 9 kills, easily their best round of the tournament.
They did lose General inside of that exchange, but no fear coming out from him. Look at this. Duckman's finally deciding that he wants to med back up. He's just like, I don't care. I think I can kill you before you can kill me. Doesn't matter if I've only got like less than 25% of my life.
He's honestly been one of the most impressive players here for me so far in this tournament.
Hands down.
I mean, it's just crazy how good he is and how confident he is. He is not scared of anything. Hanboya trying to finish off the last member of the Arrowwolves in the smoke. Avo, the leader here, the in-game leader for the Arrowwolves, does manage to get the heal off. Hanboya spraying in there, but no bullets really connecting so far. Oop, he had to crawl outside of the circle, and then Raspu managed to get him there.
Gonna go ahead and take that one up. So here we are. We've got our last 3 teams, 6 alive at the time. It's Brazilian Crusaders. Right over there next to them is Tempo Storm's Maluk, and then we've got Armory Gaming that do have to push over towards the circle, and somehow Maluk managed to get the new circle. So he just gets he's friends with that tree at this point. I wonder if he's like named it. They're like just over there having conversations.
He's carved his initials into it and put a little heart under it. You know, it's looking good there.
It's just his home now. He's been there for quite a while. Like, look at all the grass. He's just kind of hanging out, letting everybody else fight at this point. I mean, it's kind of like karma, right? He was kind of defending the other teams earlier whenever we had somebody hanging out down below him. So now just let everybody else fight and defend him.
And look at this situation we have here. Tempo Storm's Maluk has a little dip to himself. The members of the Crusaders have a little dip to themselves, but they're making their way out now, and Hanboya has sights on them, trying to get those mini 14s out. He does get the knock onto Raspu. That means there's only one member left here for the Crusaders. He goes down. That's 10 kills here for AG.
Look at this. Armory Gaming now knows they have complete control over this. 3 members up, and poor Maluk is just hanging out behind that tree. Finally decides he wants to go for some shots, moving his way up that hillside, but he has a firefight ahead of him. Duckman's grenade starting to roll back down that hillside right up in front of him, does a little bit of damage. Looks like there's going to be a follow-up grenade following through onto this. Is it going to connect? Got to roll back down the hillside, so he's going to get a little bit longer to survive, but look, Hanboya is coming around the outside flank here. It's going to be DMG holding the other angle, but look, Maluk gets the down onto Duckman's. Hanboya still holding that other angle, trying to get a little bit damage, does connect, and that's going to be Armory Gaming picking up the round win with 12 kills.
What a statement here from Armory Gaming. They had a tough day on day number 1. They got some kills, a lot of it on the back of Duckman's, but here, 12 kills total, 6 of them going to Hanboya, so it doesn't just need to be Duckman's carrying the mantle for them. AG really strutting their stuff here. Nice to see from the Thai team, and I know the Thai fans are going crazy.
I just love the way that they played that. Just aggression all over the place, that forward positioning coming out from Duckman's. It's almost like he just gathered all the information out by himself and was like, okay, you 3 go this direction and just start killing everything. And it just paid off huge for them.
Yeah, I like this 1-3 split that they're doing. They're letting Duckman's be that point, doing the damage, calling in the shots for the rest of the team to follow. You know, this is actually kind of a veteran team. Some of these players have been around for a while. Hanboya used to play in the Korea leagues from time to time when he was on Myth. So this is a team that's absolutely capable of doing something, and I loved what I saw from them here. The aggression paid off.
And we got a couple of things we got to mention. Tempo Storm sneaking their way into that second place spot. Brazilian Crusaders coming out in third, really showing a lot more activity today than what we saw from them yesterday. Airwolf 7 back behind that, not a ton of kills, but NIP in 5th place. Miraku coming up with 6 kills, Gaxi with 3, Vard with 2, and NBS with 2 as well.
Yeah, a really nice round from them. It kind of fell apart at the end, but that's really impressive, and they managed to control South George. I don't think VSG should go back there. I think they should go to North George, which is their old drop for a long time back in the PKL, or Primorsk, which has been a more recent trend for them. I mean, that plane wasn't favorable for Primorsk, but they could have gone North George.
I know that hurts your soul to say it a little bit. It's like VSG needs to not go back there. But at this point, it didn't work out too well for them, so naturally that's probably going to be the more logical choice that we see coming into play.
Yeah, I think they kind of have to. They can't have another disaster like that, especially, you know, they've had a really good day so far. They've been one of the best teams from Group C. And, you know, to propel yourself into that grand finals and to avoid the elimination stage is really important. They have kind of the right momentum to do that, but they need to keep it up in this last 2 games.
I mean, I've just been impressed with how we see AG slowly evolve. They're kind of picking up new things here and there. No fear coming into them, playing a lot more confident. I mean, we saw them play pretty confident yesterday, but they're playing extremely confident today.
I love it. I think they've kind of seen what the name of this the game of this tournament has been. Aggression works, getting kills, does work. So I think they've kind of picked up on that, and I think that probably was kind of what they wanted to be anyway. But they might have. I noticed they were a little passive. They were playing kind of edges, trying to just find safe ways into the edge of the circle yesterday, and it didn't really seem to pay off too much.
Well, I mean, Group C is also kind of the chaos group, in my opinion. There is so much capabilities just to kill and rotate and kind of do whatever they want. It makes it to where any group that has to play along with them just has to embrace the chaos and adapt every single round to something new, some new curveball that's going to come their way.
Yeah, there are so many #1 teams that came into this group from their regions, and I wanted to give a little bit of props to Tempo Storm's Maluk and Tempo Storm in general. I think this is a nice round for them to build off of. Yeah, they didn't get the chicken dinner. Obviously, you want that, but this was something that they can kind of hang their hat on and say, okay, this is Erangel. We're a little more comfortable here. We can probably do something off of this.
I mean, with the performances that we saw from Shoot to Kill and 4 Angry Men yesterday, I was really expecting Tempo Storm and OMGs just to come out the gates gunning. And it's been a little bit more quiet from them, like just kind of figuring out what's going on. Naturally, we did start on Miramar. Now we're back over to Erangel, where everything's just far more comfortable for everybody. But it's nice to start to see those, like a lot of these first place teams get a little bit more breath. We saw the analysts and the experts kind of talking about that, where we've seen the first place teams kind of take a second to need to get going.
Well, we are going to jump over to Freya. She has got Han Boya from AG. Take it away, Freya.
That is exactly right, guys. I have managed to grab Han from the winning team, Armory Gaming. Now, yesterday, you guys seemed to struggle a little bit, and you've actually achieved some pretty solid results today. What has changed for the team?
คือเมื่อวานเนี่ยที่แข่งเนี่ยมันค่อนข้างจะทำได้ไม่ดีเท่าไหร่ครับแต่อะไรที่บอกว่าทำให้วันนี้เนี่ยมันทำได้ดีขึ้นมีอะไรเปลี่ยนไป
อ๋อก็เมื่อวานก็กลับไปศึกษาการเล่นของทีมอื่นแล้วก็ทีมเราเป็นหลักครับว่าเราจะเล่นยังไงให้มันสบายขึ้นแล้วก็วันนี้ก็มาลองเล่นดูก็เวิร์กถือว่าทำได้
so yesterday they come back and have a discuss with the teams as how the other team play and they have create a new plan and when they use it today it's work out.
Well, it worked out very well indeed, particularly your positioning in that final fight. Can you talk me through what happened there and how you found yourself in that advantageous position?
คือตอนตำแหน่งนี้ฮะที่เล่นเนี่ยมันดีมากฉะนั้นเนี่ยพอจะบอกได้ไหมว่าแบบว่ามีเหตุการณ์อะไรที่ทำให้แบบว่าไปถึงอยู่ตรงไหนกันได้
ก็หลักๆก็คือเราก็แค่ส่องดูครับแบบส่องไปก่อนว่าตรงไหนไม่มีคนเราก็แค่ไปตรงนั้นแล้วก็เกมเมื่อกี้วงเข้าข้างด้วยเป็นส่วนหนึ่งก็เลยทำให้เราได้โพสิชันที่ดีครับ
so they just take a peek to see the area that have no other people around and then plus the circle is on that side so they can get into a good position.
Well, all of the guys performed very well on the squad, but particularly I want to point out Duckman's. He's looked so solid. What is his kind of role within the team?
Duckman เนี่ยทำได้ดีมากเลยในเกมนี้เนี่ยหน้าตำแหน่งของเขาเนี่ยในเกมนี้คืออะไร
เล่นเป็นตำแหน่งสเกลครับเป็นคนแบบหาพื้นที่หาโพสิชันเนี่ย
so Duckman is play as a scout he find the position and item and so on
Well, thank you so much, guys, especially translate. It's nice to get an insight from the teams from all around the globe, especially here. James, what have you got to say about that one at the desk?
Armory Gaming breaks open the vaults and not only takes themselves a load of kills, but guns to boot. Impressive stuff there by Armory Gaming, representing Thailand. Proud. Very cool to see them coming out and busting the strong position there towards the very end. Gentlemen, what did you take here from this game?
I think maybe don't fight a Bison with an empty AK. It was a tough start for Ents. They went to a compound that Envy just beat them to, and that was a really rough opening for them.
That was very unlucky. But we also saw don't go into South George when ex-welcome to South George is there.
Yeah.
BSG lost all 4 members without taking any of them down. Yeah, he got 2 knocks, but they scared them away, I think. Tempo Storm was well fighting against Envy, as you saw here, and completely wiped them out. Very unlucky for Envy. But good for Tempo Storm. They played that super well and got a really good wipe early on.
Seriously, North America can't get a break. If Ents isn't wiping them out, North America's wiping them out. So tough little NA on NA violence there as we see the teams filter on down. It was a northern circle that didn't have a lot of cover, James, so it came to some tough decisions in terms of how do you deal with that situation around firing range.
I mean, it wasn't just tough decisions in those last circles. It was tough decisions every circle because they were all hard shift. It was hard shift, constantly needing everyone to adapt.
I'm really surprised that NIP allowed Winstrike, as losing one player there was crucial to them not making it any further. So they've been sticking super close for so long, and then here in the end, they started splitting up, which lost them the game, I feel like.
And Armory Gaming capitalized on that moment, pushed them. Ninjas Pajamas, I thought it was their game to win, but Armory just ripped it away.
And those were the highlights brought to us here in presentation by the wonderful NVIDIA. We're back and plenty to talk about here when it comes to our first game on Erangel, of course. Let's go back chronologically. Let's start at the beginning, because obviously the VSG versus NIP fight was very important in terms of not only did my boys not win that fight, but also NIP was very, very impressive. And it comes down to, we were discussing about it, from my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, it just feels like VSG really didn't do their homework on how strong NIP can be in that position.
We've seen it so many times before where there's some teams that try to go to South George, and I'm surprised that they, I actually respect that they go on head-on.
Right.
Go for the front six backs, they split up, and then just try to take them head-on. They could have trapped them if they wanted to, giving them a hard time, trying to force them out that way. They could have done a 2-2 split, taking the West Town and maybe the crates, kind of change it up a bit. They take them head-on, but they lose it 4-0. Like, they take no points from it. And I doubt, actually, that they're going to go again after that massacre.
I mean, it's time for a history lesson here, right? And if these teams haven't watched, maybe they should pay attention. Because since the very beginning, when they were like Kingwin back once upon a time, that was their house. They lost their sponsor. They called themselves Welcome to South George because they were so good at it.
Beautiful beaches.
Yes, beautiful beaches, great bridges, and easy kills. And it's the same with Ninjas in Pajamas. The joke is that if you see one member of NIP in South George, it's already too late. And that's because they're so good at running 2-2 pushes, pincers, and splits. And that's what we saw. They crushed into the house, knocked out the first player, and then from then it was just knocking down pins one after another.
Let's check in as well with how the circles went, because obviously I mentioned before that it was hard shift, hard shift, hard shift. And it did cause teams problems. When you're having to traverse from every single hard shift constantly, then you end up in some odd and very scary situations, Avenger.
I mean, here with the Western hard shift, it basically benefited everybody, because the first circle, which was extremely northern, was a spot where it's hard to get in. But once we get to the third circle, all the teams, they kind of felt themselves comfortable. But then it goes east again. It's centering up very strongly on Brazilian Crusaders and Entis Force. And then it's going to go south. And then so it kind of all over. It goes all over the place. So if you were center from the beginning, it's going to benefit you. But here, Maluk being able to get into a top 2 with this, obviously the last circle benefited him a little bit, forcing Brazilian Crusaders to go out and out of their house, out of their cover. And Armory Gaming, they're going to be able to just pick out those 2 kills up so easy.
The Maluk play was like almost old school Liquid or FaZe. That's sort of like, oh man, everything's gone wrong. Send one man and get placement. Yeah. And this time it happened to work. But for me, the big takeaway from this game, James, is how Armory Gaming did. Massive improvement since yesterday. Yesterday, they had one finish on all 6 games that was sub-9, and that was 8th place. They picked up 1 placement point. They came in today, and they started at 9, 3, 4, and then 1. So these guys have been improving every single game, and that's what you want to see, especially if they get stuck in the elimination stages. With progression like that, they don't have to be stressed out.
And let's take a look at the X factor of the match as well here. Brought to you and presented by HyperX, of course. What are we letting loose here is what I want to know. Are we unleashing something? Is that what's about to happen? Oh, look at that. Look who it is.
All it takes is
double.
Yeah. And it's still like that. I really wanted to see this again because we barely caught a glimpse of it. But yeah, he takes the double tap through a window on a rusted car and absolutely just puts an end to Aerowolf's hopes and dreams down there. It's a tough place to find cover, but it's a really tough shot to hit.
Yeah, very impressive stuff there by Gaxi. So good to see that overall. And I wanna actually, you briefly just harked on it there for a moment in terms of the word takeaways. I want to Toffee's takeaway from this match going into the next match. What do you extrapolate from this going into the next one?
The Toffee's takeaway is going to be also a warning right now. We've seen 4 Erangel maps. 3 of them have been northern circles. Yes, we saw the same thing yesterday. There's usually a temptation when it comes to the pro players to believe in patterns and to start sort of leaning towards where the circles have been showing up. I would temper that temptation. There's no such thing as it's guaranteed to go north, and still continue to play your game and sort of don't edge above the river like a lot of players would.
I want to also... I'm not going to do the other one.
No. Let's leave it at that. I think that was fantastic. No more takeaways, okay?
The Avengers Revengers. It's so good.
I like Avengers Revengers.
I don't even know why I did it at the beginning. It's awful. Anyway, all right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We're going to go to a short break here, ladies and gentlemen, for the Face It Global Summit. When we return, we only have 2 more matches remaining. We're going to be sticking with